Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of 7 in 7, how to develop 7 skills in 7 days. There is a little risk of overwhelm. There is a little risk of, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to implement what I did in day 1, building my list. Oh my gosh, figuring out inviting, that's a whole thing, and I've started on that. But I mean, a lot of what I said before is, look, a lot of the learning is in the doing. But we're going to smash through this. This is a crash course. We're going to smash through this in 7 days. You've got an unlimited amount of times you can watch it over and over again. What I want to have happen, my objective, is to take your confidence level and your activity level up and give you a roadmap that gives you the best chance for success. Okay? So in doing that today, we're going to be talking about presenting. And what I want to do is describe to you, can you take that little arrow off the screen? Oh, well? Yeah. All right. There's 2 different categories when it comes to presenting that you need to understand the differentiation between this and the importance of each. One category is with your prospects. And the other category is all other prospects. Two distinct categories. It's really important that you understand this because look, as I told you, when I first got involved in the profession of network marketing, I tried to go first party, which we discussed yesterday. I tried to just go tell everybody, let me give you all the facts about the company. Let me tell you everything about the products. Let me tell you everything about the compensation plan. And people judged me because it was first party and I got very, very minimal results. And then I learned to use third party, right? If my lips are moving, to point, read, introduce, or tell stories, never to be the fact giver, always to be the connector between the prospect and the information. Okay? So what I need you to understand here is there's a little bit of a differentiation. It's not one size fits all. Your prospects, you need a third party, which is a tool, an event, product, story, video, website, podcast, upline, you know, 3-way phone call, 3-way chat, anything that's not you, you need to use a third party when it comes to your prospects. So when it comes to presenting to your prospects, you need to get really, really clear that you're not the fact giver. Your job is to connect people to the information. Now, what is your job is to edify these things. Wow, this tool is amazing. This event is unbelievable. This product is incredible. Let me tell you a story. Now, even if it's your story is one of the most important things that you're going to need to develop. Your story, one of the most important things that you need to practice, you need to work on, you need to develop in order to properly connect to that prospect. So what I like to tell people is tell the story and then do the thing. Tell your story and then whatever the thing is that's working, third party inside your company, then do that thing. Tell the story, sample the product. Tell the story, show the video. Tell the story, send them to the website. Tell the story, have them listen to the podcast. Tell the story, connect them with your upline. Tell the story, get on a 3-way call. Tell the story, show them the tool. Tell the story, invite them to the Zoom. Whatever it happens to be, tell your story, do the thing. Okay? Now, to start this, I want to take you to a little storytelling workshop that I did recently that will show you how to craft your story. And it's just a little bit more interactive and fun, taking it from a live event to share it with you. So let's do that now. Check it out, and I'll be back when that storytelling workshop. Pay special attention. Your story is really important. Pay special attention to how you can craft your story. It's one of your most important tools. But when you're telling the story, tell the story, do the thing. Tell your story, do the thing. Tell your story, introduce the third party. This is what will work and what will duplicate, okay? So watch that, and I'll be back when it's done. One of the most important things that you need to realize in our profession that's different than other people's professions is the power of your story. Your story is a bigger deal. Here, you don't talk to the corporate executive at the bank and say, well, let me tell you my story. The corporate executive doesn't talk to his friend, the attorney, and say, well, let me tell you my story. They just don't do that. It's very transactional. But a big part of how we help other people see the picture for themselves is for us to tell our story. Learning how to do that. Now, if I could give you any gift, it is that you learn how to tell your story incredibly well and effective, but not only that, that everybody on your team does it as a reflex. Not as a, oh, I should tell the story. It's automatic. My friend Emily Vavra, every time, and she's amazing, and Hayden, and all this whole group is awesome. Love these guys. And they're from Minnesota, which makes me double happy about them. But if you talk to Emily, as an example, and she talks to any new person, within 60 seconds, she's going to say something to the effect of, is it all right if I tell you my story real quick? She immediately does. She goes into that, and the story builds rapport. The story lowers the defenses. The story makes people want to learn more. The story that you're telling is the glue. I've learned from one of my key mentors in the network marketing, or in business, one of my key mentors. All business, write this down, please. It might take you a while for you to totally understand what I'm about to say, but let me tell you, all business is conversation. It's all it is. It's conversation. Your job is to start more conversations and keep them going. And in the conversation, you will find opportunity. Don't need to worry about the hard close and the fast sell and all that stuff. Don't need to worry about that. Just start the conversation, keep the conversation going, and in the conversation, the magic will happen. So if people are talking, you and people in your group are talking about your business is in action. Your business is alive. If conversations have stopped, your business is dead. So your goal is to create conversation. What a better way to create conversation than through story. Story is amazing. So I'm going to teach you how to tell your story. We're going to go through a little exercise. If you're ready, say I'm ready. 4 parts to telling your story. Part number 1, 4 elements. Element number 1 is your background. You are a firefighter. You are a business person. Give me some backgrounds real quick. Oil field. Massage therapist. Law enforcement. Medical auditor. Research assistant. Self-employed. Doing what? Lawn care business. Engineer. Military. Banking. Real estate. Fund manager. Corporate America what? Sales. IT. How about you? HR. How about you? Law enforcement. Everybody's got one. If you're a teacher, you're a firefighter, it doesn't matter. If you're a student, that's your story. I'm a student. You know? I wait tables. Whatever it is, everybody's got a story. So your background is part number 1. Part number 2 of your story is what you didn't like. What were the parts of that background that weren't perfect for you. Now, I'm not telling you you have to say, I hate my background. I was a teacher and I hate it. I'm not saying you have to do that. I work for a charity and I hate it. I'm not saying you have to do that. But there is something that is not perfect in any background. If you're a blue-collar worker, maybe it's hard on your body. Maybe it's dependent on the economy up and down. Maybe it's dependent on the weather, whether you're working or not. Unions, who knows? All kinds of things outside of your control. If you're a teacher, maybe you have to deal with politics. You're underpaid for what you're doing. You know, you got to watch out in that world, and you are so passionate about it, but no matter how good you are, there's only so much they're going to pay you. Even if you're the best teacher in the world, there's only so much you're going to get paid to teach 6th grade English. I'm sorry, that's all you're going to get. Right? No matter what it is, there's something. Might be money, might be appreciation. It might be you're bored. You know, there's no challenge anymore. There's something about it that causes you to search for something more. Part 3 of your story is that you found a solution. You found a solution. You found something that will help you to develop the other part of your life. You found a solution to being underpaid. You found a solution to being underappreciated. You found a solution to being out of control of your own future. You found a solution to having to kiss somebody's butt every single day that you don't respect. You found a solution. And then number 4 is how you feel about the future. How do you feel about the future now? How do you feel when you get up in the morning, now that you have a solution, now that you've found this thing, now that you've created this new path in your life? Even though you're maybe still full-time in that background, but now you've got a way where 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you can be living a different life. Okay? So, I know we have lots of different organizations here, so I'd like you to keep this without company names or without product mentions. But what I would like you to do in a moment, and I want you to play like a pro in this session, okay? Don't be an amateur or a poser and be too cool for this stuff. Because I get it. I'm about to ask you to tell your story to a stranger. And when they go and when I am at church and they say hi to the person on your right and on your left, guess what I say hi to? I say hi to my wife and I sit down. I'm asking you not to do that. Some of you are going to say, this is an excellent time to go to the bathroom because I've been needing to go to the bathroom. Right? Don't hide from this exercise. Feel it. I want you to find somebody you don't know well. And also, please don't say, let's pretend we don't know each other. Don't do that either. I want you to find somebody you don't know well that speaks the same language as you. And I want you to tell your story to them. And I want them to turn around and tell their story back to you. I'm going to give you a total of 5 minutes. 30 seconds to find your partner. 2 minutes for one side, 2 minutes for the other side, and back in your chair. You have to work with me. When I say stop, get back to your chair. Ready, set, go. Now, we need to go quick on this, but I want to ask, give me some observations. What did you notice in this exercise? Anyone? She noticed that the two of them had a lot in common. How many people noticed you had a lot in common with somebody else? All right, what else?
They're in love with one another.
They're in love with what they're doing. The passion is infectious. What else?
Everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story.
Everybody had a problem.
Everybody has problems. Huh? Everybody found a solution. They weren't just whining about it.
Off the mic unless Eric got cookie.
Go ahead.
Wow. 1 second, I need to breathe. Okay. I'm 67 years old, and
It's not that big a trophy, come on.
and a quarter.
Yes.
I understand now when I tell my story that is not the right way, that there is a better way, because now I have zero income and I decide that this is my way to help my family and to help others, because I am a nurse. I was born a nurse. I want to help people and I want to help my family. And the other way bring me in 67 and a quarter with zero income.
That's most people.
So this, 2 weeks ago, I quit the job that I worked so hard. I cannot believe how I worked so hard. I took the money that they gave me and I come here.
Nope. Well, congratulations. Here we go. I thought you were going to start recruiting us. I was just going to say, hey, we're already in, sister. We're all signed up. What else did you learn? How many people made a really quick 2-minute friend? When you see each other in the hallway, it's going to be different. How many people wanted to learn more? How many people instinctively in your DNA you wanted to help the other person? Isn't that something? How would you like your prospects to want to help you? Wouldn't that be interesting? Instead of running away. Now, how many people felt like it was appropriate to bring up an objection? Anyone? Like, I want to object to your story. How many people felt a need to criticize the other person? Anyone? No criticism, no objections, all love. In 2 minutes. How many people went second? Raise your hands, please. And how many of you were more open because the other person went first? Like, oh, all right, you went first. All right, I'll tell you my real story. I was going to tell you the fake story, but now I'll tell you the real story since you told me the real story. Fine. So, one of these 4 elements, and some of you follow my stuff, you know the answer to this question, so I won't do the big trick with you, but if you put up the 4 elements of the story, your background, what you didn't like, that you found a solution, how you feel about the future, one of those 4 is absolutely far and away the most important. And most people, first time they see this, they don't realize which one. And the answer is what you didn't like. Your dissatisfaction is the most important. Your pain is the most important. Because listen to me, nobody cares about how cool you are and how great your future is. And a matter of fact, they might resent it. Oh yeah, you're going to brag about how cool you are? Tell me more about your company. Tell me more about how excited about your future. You're acting all big shot, giving them all the facts. They don't care. They're not even listening. They're waiting for it to be over. What's most important is that you build a connection with another human being over your shared experiences, over your pain, over your hurt, over your challenges. That's what builds rapport. That's what makes people want to help. That's what makes people want to listen. It's the most important thing. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to do it again and find a different person this time. And this time, I want you to emphasize your dissatisfaction. I want you to be more real than maybe you've ever been to another human being, because we're taught never show your weakness, never talk about your pain. Nobody wants to hear about it, right? Be strong. man up, stiff upper lip, all that stuff. What I'm going to ask you to do is be more authentic than maybe you've ever been to another human being and say the way that they treat me at that office has made me feel small for the last 10 years. In the last 5 years, that smallness has turned into resentment, and I don't want to live like that anymore because it's spilling into the rest of my life. I'm tired of getting paid 10% of what I'm worth. I'm tired of being unappreciated for the efforts that I put in to help somebody else do what they need to do. I'm tired of the limitations. I'm tired of saying, no, we can't afford it to my kids. I'm done with it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So whatever that is for you, say it like you maybe never even said it to your spouse because you're trying to protect them from your pain. Maybe you've never said it to your friends because you're just trying to be strong. Your kids certainly don't know because you're trying to be tough. For this moment, in this safe environment, I want you to do that, okay? All right, 5 minutes. Find a new partner. Ready, set, go. All right. How many of you had an enjoyable experience? Raise your hands, please. How many people made another 2-minute friend? When you see him in the hallway, it's going to be special. How many of you traded information because you want to stay in touch? How many are going to see him later tonight? Just kidding, I'm just kidding. Vulnerability's sexy, I'm just saying. I've been really trying. Now, here's the thing. This isn't hard. This is friendly. This is light. This is enjoyable. Most of you did this with a perfect stranger. And within a few minutes, you built rapport with another human being. The opportunity to talk to that person. How many people felt like you wanted to learn more? Tell me more, right? It's natural. Any entrepreneur naturally connects the dots in their mind. If you just tell a story, an entrepreneur is going to say, well, maybe this could work for me. I don't know. Maybe. Entrepreneurs connect the dots. Entrepreneurs can't walk into a venue like this without counting seats. An entrepreneur can't look at the concession stand outside and figure out how many people they got and what's going on. I mean, entrepreneurs are a unique breed. They look for opportunity, and they look to see how they can connect with the opportunity. So, doing this is critical and it's important, and you need to do all 4 things. I'm going to do a 2-minute exercise with you, and you don't need to leave your seat. What I want you to do is I want you to do your story one more time. 2 minutes, 1 minute on each side. That's it. But this time you're forbidden to give your background, and you're forbidden to talk about what you didn't like about it. You can't do that. All you get to talk about is hey, I found a solution. Here's how I feel about the future. Okay? 1 minute, and then turn around. The other person gets to do it 1 minute back to them. You can stay in your seat to do this with the person next to you. Ready, set, go. 2 minutes. Now, how did that feel? Way different, right? How many people did it feel pushy? Did it feel salesy? Rushed? Awkward? Incomplete? Didn't know where to start? See, here's what I'm talking about. It's the same 3rd and 4th thing that you talked about before, but without building rapport, it feels way different. Your prospects are going to be naturally guarded in the conversation if you don't just tell them your background and what you didn't like, and you build some rapport. Now, if you're going to do this with someone, and let's say you tell them your story, but they won't tell you theirs. They just don't naturally start talking like you guys just did in the exercise. Well, that's normal. My friend Tom Chenault is the absolute genius at this. He interviews everyone he meets. He interviews them. He just says, well, tell me about you. Where do you come from? What's your story? He asks them the 4 questions. What's your background? Were there any parts of your background that wasn't the perfect scenario? What was the good part? What was the bad part? What was the challenging part? If you could change any part, what would you change? He gets all this information, builds rapport with another human being, and then it's very easy for him through his story and through effective follow-up to build a connection and at least get a person to take a look with an open mind. That's the goal. So you need to develop the muscle of storytelling. Guess what most of you are really good at right now? Fact giving. Let me tell you how awesome my company is. Let me tell you how amazing my product is. Let me tell you how incredible the compensation plan is. Have I told you we're expanding into a new country? Have I told you we have this new tool? Let me blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. Take a second, build rapport, build a connection with a real human being, and then they'll learn everything you got. Don't worry about it. So, learning how to tell your story. Now listen, I want you to practice this because your story is really, really, really vital. Story builds a bridge. Story builds trust. Your story gives you the opportunity to say, have you heard the news? Set up the tool. If I introduced you to one of these things, would you watch it? Would you consume it? When can you do it for sure? So if I talk to you after that, you've done it for sure, right? What's the best number and time for me to call? What we talked about yesterday? Tell the story, do the thing. The reason why this needs to say very basic with your prospects is you want a person to think three things when it comes to looking at your business. You want them to think, this looks simple, I think it'll work, and I think I could do it. I think maybe we have a graphic that says that. This looks simple, I think it'll work, and I think I could do it. Okay? This looks simple, I think it'll work, and I think I could do it. That's what you want everybody to say, because then you have duplication. See, the evolution that I went through is I was so embarrassed not having the answers, so I decided, you know what? I'm going to get all the answers. I'm going to become a presenting ninja. And I used all my presenting power and presenting skills to go try to do this myself. Let me tell you about the compensation plan. I was the world expert on the compensation plans. Let me tell you about the product. I was a world expert on the product. I could answer any question. Let me tell you about the company. Let me tell you about the timing. Let me tell you about everything. And because first party is really challenging with your prospects, I wasn't using third party. I was trying to be the expert. And because of that, my results suffered. So, this looks simple. I think it'll work. I think I could do it, is what you're trying to get to. Back to the board, please. Trying to get to when it comes to your prospects. Now, all other prospects, it's a different story. Because guess what you become if you have somebody on your team, they have a prospect, you can be the third party. The team member introduces the prospect to you, and you could be the third party, and now you get to give the facts. So a team member comes to you and says, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend Sally, and Sally is just learning about this. I told Sally my story, and I thought I'd introduce him to you because you know more about it than I do. Then you can go to Sally, tell your story, and help the team member, okay? So there's several layers of becoming a network marketing professional. I heard somebody say this early on in my network marketing career, and it changed everything for me, and that was whoever holds the marker makes the money. And I was like, wow, I want to make the money. He said, well, you gotta, what they're saying is you gotta get up in front of people. If you learn how to do presentations, you're gonna make more money. And I found out that that was actually true. So phase one is your story. Back then, we used to do live opportunity presentations, and at the end of those opportunity presentations at these hotels, they would have 8 or 10 people stand up and give a quick 30 to 60 second testimonial. So I learned how to tell my story with the 4 steps that we just described. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And it was rough at the beginning, and I got a little bit better, and over time, I was able to feel real comfortable with it. And as soon as I felt comfortable telling my story, I was much better at telling that story and then doing the thing, introducing people to third parties. So the story works for your prospect. It also works for other people's prospects. If you are on my team and you're going to introduce me to a prospect to me, the first thing I'm going to ask the prospect, is it okay if I tell you my story real quick? Nice to meet you, Sally. Is it okay if I tell you my story? I tell the prospect the story, and then I have an introduction in order to be able to give the facts, okay? So that's the first thing that you need to master is your story for your prospects and for other people's prospects. Second, your opportunity presentation, and I apologize for my handwriting, but you're gonna have to live with it. Your opportunity presentation, you need to learn. And when they told me whoever holds the marker makes the money, I was like, all right, I gotta learn this. I gotta get up in front of people. I want to be one of those people at the local meeting. I want to be one of the people who can do a presentation at a moment's notice. And I up until then, I'd been dragging people to events and putting people in front of tools, but now I had a team and I needed to learn how to do the opportunity presentation. So here's what I did. You can decide what you're going to do. I recorded the presentation from the #1 earner in the company. I recorded that presentation and I played it back word for word and I wrote it on a legal pad. Because he did the same presentation every single time. Same joke, same introduction, same close, same everything. So I wrote it down word for word. So I, play, rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, pause, wrote it all down, longhand, on a legal pad. And then I recorded my own voice doing the presentation. Back then it was on audio cassette. You could do the same thing, record it on your phone, whatever. But I recorded my own voice on audio, and then I put that audio into my car and I listened to it 1,000 times. I'm an introverted person, so presenting was a scary thing for me, very scary. It might be scary for you. But they told me whoever holds the marker makes the money. I'm like, okay. So you know how I tricked my mind? And sometimes you need to trick your mind. I'm an introverted person, but I could act. And I pretended like I was rehearsing for a one-man play, like a little Broadway play that just had one man, and I had a monologue that was about 30 minutes long. And I needed to learn my lines. And that's what I did. I listened to that recording 1,000 times, over and over and over, with my own voice, until I had it cold. I could do it today. I mean, I had it so burned into my brain, and here's what happened. As soon as I was really good with this, my confidence went through the roof. Because I could do a 3-minute version on the phone. Company, product, compensation, timing, support. Psh, call to action, let's go. I could do a 15-minute version of the same thing over lunch. I could do a 20-minute version in somebody's living room. I could do a 40-minute version at the hotel. I could spread it out and do a 2-hour version if I wanted to do a training on it. No problem. Once I learned this, I stopped being afraid to talk to people, especially other people's people. Now, I wasn't using this for my prospects because I would lose third party. I was only using this for other people's prospects. Bring your prospects to me. You provide the people, I'll provide the presentation. But what happened was, I got good at this, and what happened was my team started to build confidence in me. They're like, all we have to do is bring more people to Eric. Let me get Eric on a Skype with somebody, one of my prospects. Let me get Eric on a Zoom, and I'll bring a bunch of prospects on a Zoom. Let me have Eric come to the house for a home party. Let me have Eric do this. Let me have Eric do that, because Eric brings results. I was like, wow, a whole new chapter changed for me. Third is learning how to do a getting started training. A basic training. Like first steps. We have a course here inside of GoPro Academy called First Steps that you could incorporate to create a basic getting started in your company. How do you get started? Somebody joins, you know, like what if you were so good at training somebody that you could take these elements or whatever your company provides, and you could do a getting started training for all the new team members that joined your organization once a week or once a month. And people were so confident in your ability to train those people that they just would recruit them like crazy with confidence. They'd bring them into that, and you could provide the training. Once I learned that, that was like phase 3. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Uh-oh. Four was skills training. Can you learn enough to do a Super Saturday? Can you learn enough to do 8 hours of training? Can you do 1 hour on each skill? Can you go through GoPro Academy or inside the 7 skills in 7 days and turn that into your own style of how you're going to be able to train the skills? Okay? And then the fifth is like a keynote, a signature talk, a inspirational talk, something so good that your company would want you to give it on stage, something so good that people would invite you to and fly you in to their market. Please just tell that story. Something so amazing, which you can develop, you can actually do, okay? So these were the steps for me. For other people's prospects, I became the third party, and that's what you need to become. And you might not think, hey, I just don't have the skills for this. I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Here's what I would tell you. If you start with story that you can use on both sides. Over here, you're telling the story, doing the thing. Over here, you're telling the story as a tool to be able to help educate someone and build a connection, provide information. Then you learn the opportunity presentation. So great. I mean, look, if you'll just commit to this, you can become great. If you'll just decide, if you're introverted, fine, pretend you're an actor and you're learning your lines. Decide you're not just going to be dragging people to somebody else's Zoom call for the rest of your life. You're not just going to be dragging people to somebody else's event for the rest of your life. Your team needs you, not your upline. Your team needs you, not the company. Your team needs you, not some other leader in the organization. They need you. I did this, my team, and I was able to do the story and give the facts. My team started to bring people to me. I did this, my team started to invite with more confidence than ever before because they knew if they got them in front of me, I was going to help them get some results. Now, I gave you my roadmap for this. Then I learned how to do a getting started training. I modeled the best trainings I could find. Then I learned how to do skills training. I modeled everything that I learned and the best skills I could find. I learned how to do a keynote. Now, if you listen to some of my earlier stuff, even if you listen to some of what I do now, you'll hear influences from lots of different speakers. You'll hear sometimes it's a little bit of Les Brown. There's a lot of Jim Rohn in there. Sometimes it's real teachery like Brian Tracy. Sometimes it's a little whimsical like an Og Mandino. But it evolves. So I got to tell you, here's how I evolved. So I'll give you an example. Jim Rohn never left the podium. He was always right here. He had his little journal, and he would teach right from there, and he never moved. So guess what? For the first 5 to 10 years, I never moved. I literally stood behind that podium, and I trained. And then I got a little bit more confidence, and look, I modeled other people. I copied other people almost word for word. If they had a story that they told that was effective, I told the same story. I just literally copied great people. And then I started to see other people. I watched people like Tony Robbins who got away from the podium and started moving around. So I'm like, so I moved to the side of the podium a little bit. I moved to this side of the podium a little bit. And then I slowly found my voice like an awkward kid at the dance who's afraid to get on the dance floor. Eventually I said, you know what? I'm going to start moving around. And now I'm not on stage very much at a live event. I may be on stage 20% of the time. I'm off stage, moving around in the crowd, super comfortable, because that became part of my personality. And I developed my own sense of humor after copying everybody else's sense of humor. I developed my own style, my own clothing style, my own storytelling style. I focused on really giving a damn because I knew that if I could communicate to people how much I cared, that they would listen to what I had to say and I could help them. And I think people could feel that. Hopefully you can feel that. So what I'm saying is it's okay to copy somebody else. I remember early on in my career, my life, I was really interested in theater. And I had a mentor who's since passed away, but this mentor, he was trying to help me kind of unlock out of my shell. I was so introverted, so timid. He said, Eric, just be yourself. Big problem, I didn't like myself. So I said, that doesn't help me. I would much rather imitate, parrot, totally copy somebody else that gets results, and then I'll work on adding my style later. That's what worked for me, is copying somebody else and adding my style after the fact. So what I'm here to tell you is, and look, confidence is a big thing, building your confidence, being stronger, and for today, we don't have time to get into all of it, but we have a course called Unstoppable Confidence. This is available to you. We sell this for $300. It's available to you inside of GoPro Academy. It has program transcriptions, video, and workbook on how you can become more confident in presenting and in learning how to be a good presenter for your team. So I want to kind of close by telling you a story about this, number 5. Keynote. I had learned how to do my story. I had learned in my 20s. I had learned how to do an opportunity presentation. I had learned how to do a getting started training. I learned how to do a skills training. I'd never really done a keynote. I kind of consider myself, even now, I don't consider myself an inspirational guy. I don't consider myself a motivator. I consider myself a teacher more than anything else. But I was 1993, I believe. I just had my biggest year, 29 years old. I'd made $980,000 that year. And I'm in the top 10 of my company. And I remember I was standing next to the #1 earner in the company and the CEO of the company. And we were going to have a convention at America West Arena in Arizona, and that 14,000 people were coming to this convention. And I really wanted to get on stage. I really wanted to be part of the presentation somehow. And so joking, kind of half joking, in front of the CEO and the number one earner, I said, you know what? Number one earner here, you know, yeah, he's probably a better networker than I am, but I can do a better presentation than him anytime. At the convention, for example, oh, I could crush him. Just joke, haha. Number one earner laughed, but the CEO went, really? Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to give you both 12 minutes at the convention, and we'll see who can give a better presentation. The convention was 90 days away. We'll see who can give a better presentation. All right, we'll see. I'm going to have I'm going to pick some judges in the crowd, and we'll let you know who's going to be number one. But good luck. Now, the number one earner, he didn't feel like he had to prepare. He was number one. He's going to walk out, be number one. He's going to win. I decided this was a moment that I needed to work on. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. So I went to work. I listened to some of the greatest speeches ever. I watched what some people did when it came to storytelling, how they used quotes, how they used repetitive phrases. I listened to I Have a Dream. I listened to all different kinds of speeches from around the world. I bought books on quotes and speeches, and I started to write my speech out, and then I practiced, and then I'd write it again, and I'd practice, and I'd write it again, and I'd practice for 90 days, preparing for a moment. And what happened for me in that moment changed my entire life. Now I'm going to end by playing you. There's no video of this that I'm aware of. I don't believe there's any video exists of this actual speech, which is 27 years ago. Yeah, 27 years ago, okay? But there's an audio of that presentation. Several years back, people put some images onto the audio of that presentation. I want you to hear it, but before I go there, and that'll close out our session, and then we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking about follow-up questions and objections tomorrow. I want you to know, when that speech ended, my network marketing career changed. My team, their confidence in me went through the roof. They put people in rooms for me. They put people in front of me. They worked harder to get closer, to spend more time with me. Everything changed. So before I play that to close out today, I want you to know that you can use this to build your confidence. You can use this with your prospects, tell the story and do the thing, keep it duplicatable, and then you need to become the tool that your team leverages for all other prospects. Telling a story, opportunity, getting started, skills, and even keynote. You got to find a way to master this. And even if you're going to set a goal a year from today to be great at this, wouldn't it be great to be amazing a year from today? Where when your company is putting on it's setting its agenda for the next convention, or their online convention, or the next Zoom, that everybody's like, oh, please, 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 can they get you on? Everybody's calling you all the time. Can you come on, please? Share your story one more time. Share your keynote one more time. Reach into the heart and soul one more time, please. What you're about to hear is that you're going to hear a much higher voice, because I was 29 years old. But listen to what preparation can do, and know, and kind of try to imagine what this speech did for my career and what a similar speech can do for yours, okay? That's it for me. Check out what we ended up calling a call to action, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Over 200 years ago, there was a revolution, an American Revolution, an event that literally changed the course of history. It was led by a group of unsatisfied people. People who were tired of being told what they could do and when they could do it. People were fed up with their lack of choices and their lack of personal freedoms. People fed up with their lives being controlled by others. Fed up with being oppressed, fed up with being manipulated. They finally said, enough, I've had it, and I'm not going to live like this anymore. Our ancestors were people that took full responsibility for what happened to them. It was that spirit that ignited a country and formed what is now a giant in the free world. I have a question for you. Where's that spirit today? Right there. It's time for another revolution. Let me explain one of the laws of the universe. It's called the law of use, and it says simply this: whatever you don't use, you lose. Lack of use causes loss. Ambition unused declines. Faith unused decreases. If you don't use your skills, you lose your skills. If you don't use your freedom, you lose your freedom. Freedom does not come automatically. It's not attained and then handed down to us as an inheritance. It must be achieved each day. At the turn of the century, in the year 1900, less than 10% of us worked for other people or the government. Over 90% of us were self-employed. We were an independent people. In 1980, only 80 years later, over 90% of us worked for the other people or the government. Less than 10% of us were self-employed. We changed from an independent people to a dependent people. We'd slowly shifted from a people who took full responsibility for everything that happened to them to a people who've become talented and practiced at the art of blaming others for their problems. Our giant has fallen asleep. Our forefathers didn't say, who's going to take care of me? They simply said, all I ask is the opportunity to be free and the ability to take care of myself and my family. Today, we elect officials who will quote-unquote take care of us. We cry out against anyone who dares to ask us to provide more value in the workplace. We do everything we can to spread around the suffering in our society, and yet no one is willing to step up and be part of the solution. We've slowly changed from a society that compensates based on value to a society that compensates based on entitlement and seniority. What we've come to believe is our due. We act as if someone actually owes us a living. Part of this change is due to the dramatic rise of conformity in our society. We're all taught to conform. Incredible pressures are put on us every day to do things, quote unquote, the right way. And yet no one asks the question, is this really the right way? A man once said, I'm just a collection of mirrors reflecting what everyone expects of me. We live our lives to please those around us, and the scary thing is, the people around us are doing exactly the same thing. Psychologist Rollo May calls us outer-directed people. We don't act, we only react. We seek not to be outstanding, but to fit in. We're able to respond, but not to choose. Perhaps that's why a wise man once said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. In order to change, we need to become inner-directed people. People with our own purpose. People who are not easily swayed by the opinions of others. And that's difficult because from a very early age, we look to the opinions of others to orient ourselves and to validate our decisions and our actions. Nietzsche said, we need more strong people in this world because the weak, by their sheer mass, are forcing weak ideals and weak values on us all. Today's massive social and economic changes are waking this slumbering giant. Some people may not be ready right now for the changes happening today in today's society. It doesn't matter if they're ready or not. An old proverb says, if a man wants his dreams to come true, he must first wake up. I, for one, am glad for the radical changes in our society because I believe that within that crisis, we will find that independent spirit that once pioneered this country. Some of us are finally ready to change. The displacement of our workforce has caused many of us to start searching for something better. Moving products and moving services is our business and our goal, but what we are becoming in the pursuit of that goal is a larger and much more important issue. The rekindling of our independent spirit has more lasting value. There's no more noble a business than the business that encourages the development of people. Every living organism has one and only one central need in life: to fulfill its own potentialities. The acorn becomes an oak, the puppy becomes a dog, and that's all that's required of the oak and the dog. But the human being's task in fulfilling his or her nature is much more difficult. The reason is, unlike any other living creature on this planet, you've been given the dignity of choice. You'll not grow like a tree. You'll grow only as you plan and choose to grow. When a person chooses to live, two things happen. First, assuming responsibility for themselves takes on a whole new meaning. They accept responsibility not as something they've been saddled with, but as something they themselves have chosen. The second thing that happens is that discipline from the outside is replaced by self-discipline. They accept discipline not because it's commanded, because they themselves have chosen what they want to do with their lives. Just like when the disenfranchised men and women over 200 years ago got fed up and said, "I'm not going to live like this one more day," there's another revolution coming. It's coming not just from Americans, but from people all over the world. It's coming from people who've been oppressed in meaningless jobs, from people who've been unjustly held back, from people who've been slighted or ignored, from people who've had their hopes crushed time and time again by the circumstances around them, from people who've been playing in a game where the rules weren't the same for everyone, from people whose dreams have almost died by the methodical dripping of negative and pessimistic forces, people who've just been waiting for the right opportunity to present itself, an opportunity that they could hold on to, believe in, a place where people believed in them. I hear the rumbling of this coming revolution every day. The old rules are changing, and society is finally ready for that change. Will people try to persuade you not to rise up? Yes, they will, and sometimes with the best of intentions. But we must fight anyone or anything that tries to influence us against our freedom. And they'll try. Believe me, they'll try. They'll try to suggest you off course, to nudge you off course, to distract you off course. There's another revolution coming, and it's going to be led by a group of unique and courageous people like you. People who've had it with the way things are. People who've picked out their mountain in life and said, "I'm going to the top." And if someone tells you you can't climb mountains, you don't have any experience. You tell them, "I'm going to the top." And if your neighbor tells you, "Come on, choose another mountain, that one's too rocky," what are you going to tell them? And if someone tells you, "Let's go over here where it's not so steep," what are you going to tell them? And if someone says network marketing, what are you going to tell them? And if your friend tells you, "Come on, let's climb this one, that one's too slippery," what are you going to tell them? If anyone tells you you can't go up, it's too rocky, too steep, too slippery, you say, "Listen here, I'm going up. You're either going to see me waving from the top or dead on the side. I'm not coming back." There's something about the do-or-die attitude. It's almost like when someone has a do-or-die attitude, time, fate, and circumstances seem to get together, have a hasty conference, and say, they say they're going to do it or die. We might as well let them have it. The People in this arena are special. You're special because you've already rekindled that independent spirit. You've already said that you're not going to conform to negative pressures around you. You've all said enough, I've had it, and I'm not living like this anymore. You are the people who want to set big goals and aspirations for yourselves and your families. People who want to live in a country where families are brought together again instead of being torn apart. People who want a country where once again owning your own business and controlling your own destiny is commonplace. People who want a country where every man, woman, and child is treated with equal respect and dignity. People who will pay any price so their families will not live with the legacy of maxed out credit cards and unfulfilled promises. Today, we stand at the genesis of a new revolution, and people like you are going to lead it. Theodore Roosevelt said these words decades ago, and I think they're particularly appropriate today. He said, "We see across the dangers of the great future, and we rejoice as a giant refreshed. The great victories are yet to be won. The greatest deeds yet to be done. I've dreamt of a company that can give us the opportunity to make these dreams come true by allowing us all to fulfill our own true potential. I love you all. Thank you very much."